eBay versus Instagram. Where do you prefer to buy your comic books? Stay tuned. What's up, guys? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and before I get into the topic, please take a moment to like this video and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I would really appreciate it if you hit that little bell just so you get notified anytime that I put a new video out, which, by the way, I'm starting to get into a rhythm here with YouTube now, right? Starting to put videos out every Wednesday and every Saturday. Those are kind of my 2 days that I've been picking lately, so stay tuned to that. That could adjust here and there, but I'll make an announcement if it does. For now, every Saturday, every Wednesday, I want to hit a video out there, put one out there for you guys. So the topic that I was talking about, that I just mentioned in the beginning, is the idea of eBay versus Instagram. Where do you like to buy your comic books? Over this course of 3 months, 4 months now that COVID-19 has kind of hit everybody and has gone through, hopefully we're starting to be able to get back to normal, somewhat normal. It's changed a lot of things, obviously, in the world and in certain industries. And for comic books, it has certainly kind of adjusted how people are buying comic books, where people are buying more online. Now, I am going to be speaking from my perspective of what I kind of prefer and kind of what I've been learning over the course of these past 3-4 months on just kind of, I guess, the pros and cons of each of these, right? So eBay, Instagram, if you're not familiar, you can buy books on Instagram. For those of you who maybe have not explored that yet, I know eBay is an obvious app that's been around for quite some time for all sorts of items. But I'm actually becoming more of a fan of buying books on Instagram when it comes to buying my comic books. And there's a few reasons for that, right? There's the idea that I've been able to build this trust, right, with people in the community. There's a community on Instagram of comic book collectors. And you just don't have that same ability when it comes to eBay. And a lot of it is because, well, eBay is not a social platform. It is not necessarily a platform that you go on to just talk with people from time to time. It is more so just for shopping or for selling, right? Instagram is more of that, has the whole collective of being able to, meet new people. I've made so many new friends in this comic book community. It's been awesome to just get to know people and to develop these relationships where I call a lot of the people that I've been talking to now, I mean, they're friends. I mean, if I run into them in person, like, we would be able to pick up a conversation as if we knew each other for a long time, because we kind of have for quite some time. And just posting our day-to-days and seeing each other's collections and things like that. So Instagram gives you the capability to, network a little bit more and get to know people as individuals and not just for their collection or what they're trying to show off or sell or push or whatever, their goal is. So for me, I guess one of the biggest drives to deciding that Instagram for me is a better place to buy comic books for myself is the fact that I have this trust built up with a lot of individuals. Now, that doesn't mean, I still am occasionally buying from individuals who I am not as familiar with. But a big part of that is reputation, right? If I know that there are certain sellers, and we talked about this in one of my previous videos on different questions to ask comic book sellers before you go and spend money with somebody. This is definitely something where I've considered, if they have the reputation, if they can provide me with references, or again, even just talking with people in the community, and I go, oh, it's a cool book, where'd you buy it? And they go off and tell me the place that they bought it from, and they say, oh, this comic account, this IG account is so good or so nice or has great books, great service. That kind of testimonial is something that really pushes for me to say, okay, I've heard from 2 or 3 or 4 people now that have all said that this particular seller is a safe one to buy from. So I add that to my list of individuals that I will buy from now. So the problem with eBay is, there's just so many sellers, right? Now, yes, you do have the system, the 5-star rating system, to determine whether or not someone is safe to purchase from or not. If they have 100% rating, that's usually a good sign. But even with that, I've seen some accidents, I guess you could call them, in terms of, everything from like shipping or, I don't know, people just getting screwed over. I've seen a lot of issues like that. And while you can communicate with eBay sellers, it's certainly not the same because you don't know them. And even the messaging system, it's almost just like an email back and forth, right? It's not the same as where you could send an actual video message to somebody or a voice message to somebody like you can on Instagram, to be able to say, hey man, I really like what you're doing, or I'm interested in some books. And again, just have that conversation to either one, get to know that person more, or two, to really get to communicate questions like we talked about in that last video of, how do you ship your books? What service do you use? USPS or UPS or things like that, FedEx. Can I see more photos? Again, I know these are some questions that you can ask on eBay, but again, it's in a much more formal email version of that. Here, they can actually just snap a photo like live or send you videos live as you ask for this stuff, and then they can also communicate you within other forms. You can even like video chat with the person if they're there and they're available. They can actually walk you through the book, through an Instagram video chat. So there's a lot of tools that you can do with Instagram, and I think that's another reason I like it, is just the flexibility that Instagram has to offer when it comes to communication. Whereas again, eBay is a little bit more on just the emailing side of things. And then the other thing is I feel like you're in the dark when it comes to eBay. You just don't know who you're working with, who you're talking to. There's no face to the name. There's no personality to the name. Again, you kind of develop that stuff when you talk to people on Instagram as opposed to eBay. So I'm coming from my perspective again, guys, just saying that I'm not going to say that eBay is better per se. I know that you can get great deals on eBay when it comes to, kind of haggling with individuals. But then again, you can do that on Instagram too. As I was talking about with trust, it's like, if I know someone that's been there for a while, I can trust, like if they explain to me what the condition of a book is in. A lot of people, I've gotten close to a lot of people to where I'm just going to take their word for it. And I've never had a problem. I will say that now. I've never had a problem on Instagram buying anything off of them. And I'm going to continue to do that. The other big thing too is I do like that it kind of keeps the books within the community. So, and it also just gives you the opportunity to shout them out, right? So if I buy a book on Instagram, it's a win-win in that, hopefully I got a good deal. I got a great book, something that I wanted, right? And then on top of that, I can shout them out and tell people, hey, I got this great deal and this great book from the XYZ Instagram account. Go check them out. They're very cool people. And hopefully that kind of just sends more people their way to, again, kind of keep the community together and recognize when there is a good seller or someone who's, offering good deals and things like that, to where they build their following as well. So, again, it's kind of a win-win overall. Whereas if I shout out someone on eBay, the person on eBay doesn't know if I shouted them out on Instagram. Unless I go find them on Instagram, in which case, at that point, you've developed an Instagram relationship, right? And then if there's anything else that I'm interested in, I'm just going to communicate with them through Instagram from that point on. So again, this is not a right or wrong. My opinion. I prefer to buy through Instagram. I like to keep it within the community, the Instagram comic book family, and be able to just have that trust factor. That's just such a big part to me. And know that, there's a lot of books that I have even behind me that have, I've bought from people, just from them, from people that I met on Instagram, and just solely, trusted what they had to offer, what the conditions of the books were. And if there's a problem, I'm sure that I could reach out to the individual and say, hey, something wrong with this book, something I didn't see or something you didn't mention. How can we work this out? How can we resolve it? Because the other thing too, look, you got a reputation on Instagram. Everybody's got a reputation, and, you certainly could, if something goes south and they try to screw you over, at least you have that kind of ability to kind of police people within the Instagram community. I know that I've seen if someone got screwed over on Instagram, they are certainly going to share that with the rest of the community to say, hey, this seller here just screwed me over. I can show you the conversation we had. I try to reasonably talk it out with them, and now they blocked me, they ignored me or whatever. So kind of, you can put that red flag out there to kind of give other buyers the awareness of, oh, okay, let me, kind of second guess or kind of reconsider, before dealing with that individual again. So anyways, that's just some stuff I wanted to put out there. I wanted to make a quick video on that. If you like what you're hearing, please like, and again, subscribe to my channel. And I would love to know your guys' opinion. What are some of the pros and cons of eBay? What are some of the pros and cons of Instagram when it comes to buying this stuff? Because I know a lot of people are now, again, kind of moving into this new world of buying off of Instagram accounts, and whether it's live auctions or whatever the case may be, or just buying from claiming on posts. So yeah, would love to hear your comments in the comment section below. And until then, I will talk to you guys later.